Good morning. Welcome to GBC News and GTV. It's time for Current Agenda, where we dissect the headlines, decode the politics, and delve into the issues and stories shaping Ghana's tomorrow. As always, we invite you to join us for a crisp analysis of the week's most pressing issues as we cut through the noise to bring you the facts, the insights, and the perspectives that matter. What do we have for you today? Well, amidst the growing speculation, questions lingering about possible concerted effort, subtle or overt, to oust the special prosecutor or potentially dismantle the office altogether. As the nation grapples with this issue, it becomes necessary to discern whether the focus should shift towards distinguishing the individual holding the office from the institutional mandate of the OSP, ensuring that the latter's continued efficacy and independence. Why has the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, raised such sharp concerns about the OSP's budget, calling its expenditure unjustifiable relative to its performance? Why is the majority in Parliament seeking to summon the special prosecutor over what they describe as an abuse of office in the detention of private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu? And is it appropriate or dangerous for the majority caucus to publicly threaten to initiate processes for abolishing another round of political equalization? Is it a case of you do me, I do you? And if it is, who ultimately pays the price? Meanwhile, government has confirmed receipt of 10 petitions seeking the removal of the Electoral Commission Chairperson and her 2 deputies, as well as the special prosecutor, thrusting the nation into a heated discourse. 7 petitions target the EC Chair, Jean Mansa, and her deputies, Dr. Bosman Asari and Samuel Tete, while 3 targets Special Prosecutor Kesi Ajabin. All have been forwarded to the Chief Justice for preliminary constitutional action. But how did the nation get to this point? Also within the week, the MPP unveiled its amended constitution, marking a significant milestone in the party's evolution, ostensibly to bolster internal governance and democratic processes. As the party embarks on reorganization, questions abound regarding the potential impact on its 2028 electoral prospects and whether this new chapter will reinvigorate the party's fortunes or merely serve as a symbolic gesture. Well, yesterday, 82-year-old Openyin Abraham Kweku Odusei, I beg your pardon, was crowned as the national best farmer. Does this highlight Ghana's agricultural prowess? But yet, we have a starkly contrast with the sector's pressing challenges. As illegal mining ravages farmlands, the government's long-term vision for agriculture remains uncertain, leaving farmers and stakeholders wondering when decisive action will safeguard the sector's future. This is Current Agenda, the Saturday morning we all need. That some of us, or most of us, need financial quick fix every now and then. Whether it is school fees, replacing that old refrigerator, or fixing the car engine to be back on the street. The Bank of Africa Quick Fix Loan Package was made with you in mind. Seize the opportunity and let your tough times make way for that soft life you've been dreaming about. Visit any Bank of Africa branch near you today and enjoy unbeatably low interest rates, flexible terms, and straightforward application process. Call Bank of Africa on 0302 429 333 or 0302 249 690. Or you can chat with Fafa at www.boaghana.com for all the information that you need. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Bank of Africa. The National Petroleum Authority says that if you suspect that you did not get the right amount of fuel, If you have issues about the quality of fuel you buy, if you experience bad customer service at any filling station, don't stress, don't fight, don't argue with them. The NPA is here to assist you. Reach out to their call center on 0302-550-380, or feel free to walk into any of their branches or the head office located at ABDUL-JALILU along the N1 highway, or any regional office to make a complaint or inquiry. If you experience any of these issues I have mentioned earlier at any filling station, you have 48 hours to report it. NPA, where customer care meets excellence. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve right into our reflections.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Welcome back to Current Agenda. This morning, I would want to do a bit of a different kind of reflection. This morning, I would want to talk about bringing back the love. Ghana must unite and bring back the love for the Ghana Black Stars. We now know the path at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and it is as challenging as it is exciting. We've been drawn against England, Croatia, and Panama. The Stars face a group that will test every fiber of our footballing identity. These are teams with pedigree, teams with history, and teams with ambition. But Ghana too has a proud history. Ghana too has a pedigree. And Ghana, when united, has always had ambition, flowing right through our veins. Our journey began the first step in a marathon being watched by the whole world. The tournament itself kicks off on June 11th across the vast landscape of the United States, Canada, and Mexico, climaxing on July 26th at the iconic MetLife Stadium. This World Cup will be unlike any before. If you think you've seen great, wait till you see the FIFA World Cup 2026. Expanded from 32 teams or 32 countries to 48 countries. It will feature 12 groups of 4 each. 22 more nations will fight for the remaining 6 slots in March, adding even more drama and excitement. The tournament will stretch across 16 venues with a record 104 matches, 78 of them in American NFL stadiums, and the remainder in the other countries, boasting of massive audience, a massive arena, and massive expectations. Become the most watched sporting event in human history. And here at home, through the national broadcaster yesterday, GTV, GBC News was able to let Ghanaians follow the draw live and together. As one people, we watched the various countries put in their various groups right from the nation's broadcaster. I say moments like these remind us of the power of national symbols. Football is not just a game. Well, anymore. It is one of the few forces that dissolves our political, ethnic, religious, and social divisions. The Black Stars belong to all of us, regardless of which political party you belong to or is in power, which region we come from, which tradition we follow, or which religion we support. As we inch closer to June 2026, there must be a deliberate national effort to rekindle that spirit. The spirit of 2006, of 2010, and of those glorious nights when Ghana stood shoulder to shoulder with giants and refused to blink. You can see on your screen spectacular moments, goals, the baby jet himself hitting it and following up with his iconic dance that took over the whole world. Not just the football, but our culture, our dance, our music permeated every sector. When Sule Muntari hit it from the middle with Kevin Prince Boateng, Olele Kingston in post, these are memories we hold. And as giants, we will continue to refuse to blink. We know the players will prepare tactically and physically, but the soul of the team, the confidence, the energy, the courage comes from you and I, from the people, from us. So the question I am asking this morning is, how do we carry on? How do we carry everyone along? How do we push the Black Stars? How do we bring back the love? How do we rebuild the bond between the nation and the Stars? It begins with ending the blame games, ending the cynicism, and reuniting behind a single purpose. It begins with the media, former national team of Black Star players. And it's not about partisan politics. This is about Ghana, about our pride, about our identity, about what is possible. If there was ever a time to bring back the love, I, KOJO, say it is now. The world is waiting. The stage is set. And the Black Stars are preparing to take on the world. Let us stand with them. Because when they rise, we rise with them. This has been my reflection. Let's bring back the love.
Current Agenda is brought to you by Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. And National Petroleum Authority, NPA, where customer care meets excellence.
Welcome back to Current Agenda, proudly sponsored by Bank of Africa and the GTV handle on Facebook. So you can follow us. We're also live on Radio Ghana and then on GBC News as well. You can also reach us via WhatsApp on 053-110-1315, 053-110-1315. Send your WhatsApp messages in there. You can also send your comments on our Facebook pages. We will do well to share them with the whole country as the program goes on. This morning, I will be joined, or currently I have in studio with me, Austin KWABENA BRAKO-POWERS. He's a private legal practitioner. Austin, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing well.
I was good. Yourself?
I'm good. I hope you love the Black Stars.
Oh, it's a team I have love for.
Okay.
We always support them.
Right.
Just that they need to do the right thing. And I think, the management will also need to know that the team has been trusted in their care. They are only trustees, but they don't have to act as though it belongs to them. And that when fair criticisms are raised, they will be trying to be defensive and not accommodating such criticisms. So that is what they need to know.
Will you be watching from whom? Or whom away from whom? Or from whom as in whom of the Black Stars during the period?
The prayer of everybody is to be live in those stadia, so that you can watch the action live.
Right.
So we are just hoping that we'll get the opportunity to go there.
Right. That's nice. Well, we'll be joined later by a few others. So as and when they join in, we would introduce them. So yes, we'll start with the issues that have come up with regards to the OSP, with regards to the interrogation and the detention of Martin Kpebu, also the petitions that has been received, then also the parliamentary discussions with regards to what they think they refer to as an abuse of office or power by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We would be watching, you can see on your screen Kpebu, and you can see the majority leader expressing. Let's take a second and just listen to what it is that he's saying. Right after that, we would come back in studio to listen to Austin's view on issues.
This particular Attorney General will produce the kind of results that we expect of him. When there's a corruption case and one runs and then places its hands on it, then the other is clearly, disabled from dealing with it. Even if the one, I believe that it is high time that this Parliament reconsiders its decision to approve the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I think that we should abolish it. We haven't reported a single scandal. And we haven't reported a single scandal because of the political commitment to ensure accountability. And we are available. It's not about creating fanciful institutions and giving them fanciful names. We have seen it. The money that we are giving to the Office of Special Prosecutor, let's resource the Attorney General's office. And I'm sure that this particular Attorney General will produce the kind of results that we expect of him. When there's a corruption case and one runs and then places its hands on it, then the other is clearly, disabled from dealing with it. Even if the one that has rushed first to take it is obviously not politically committed to fighting it. So there's clear confusion. I think that we should use this opportunity to streamline it. Let one person lead the fight against corruption as stipulated by this constitution.
If you believe the Office of Special Prosecutor is not fit for purpose, you have the majority, you call us micro-minority, we are mighty minority indeed. Repeal it. When the law is applied unfairly against a citizen, it doesn't matter whether he's from the north or the south. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter whether he's an NDC member or an MPP member. Let us insist, that is our only safeguard, that if the Honorable Mahama Yarga is suspected to have committed an offense, he should be taken through proper due process. His rights should be respected. If it is Abuja, I should be taken through due process. My rights should be respected. Mr. Speaker, that is the only way we can build a civilized, prosperous nation. That's the only way.
If we all agree that it is serving no purpose, we know what to do as a house. And so we'll do that.
Kpebu is here. He's going to meet an investigative team as part of his third appearance before the OSP. So what are your expectations ahead of this encounter?
That they would get it right this time. Remember, I've been here twice and they couldn't constitute an independent committee. They kept making me appear before subordinates to the special prosecutor. They kept making me appear before subordinates. Subordinates can't investigate their boss. It's incompetence. You see, that's the very thing they did, and then Ofuriatta left Ghana. And that's what they've done on 2 occasions. So today, if I get in there and the board or whoever, the committee is not properly constituted, I'm not coming back.
But are you willing to cooperate?
Oh, absolutely. That's not in doubt. It's not. We haven't even reached that threshold at all. Look, let's get it clear. What Mr. Kisi Ajabin has been doing so far, the 2 appearances, is that I should give my information to his subordinates. You, Fatah, until you can keep your job. It's ridiculous. So now I understand how he just botched this whole Ofuriatta matter, that he can't even get basic things right. Basic things. You're saying that give information to your subordinate. How is the subordinate going to investigate the boss? Where does that happen? Okay.
Thank you very much. So we would have a conversation. We would have a conversation when you are done with the engagement. So Martin Kpebu is here, and he's going to have a conversation. He's going to have a conversation this very afternoon at the office of the special prosecutor. Martin Kpebu said he's willing to cooperate with the officers this afternoon as far as. But Council, we told that you are not really willing to cooperate. In fact, the last time Sami Daku posted on his Facebook page that you don't want to cooperate with the team. In fact, you were asked some questions, you refused to answer all of those.
Yeah, so I'm surprised Sami Daku is using the word not willing to cooperate. That's why I say that once he used that language, I understand why they couldn't handle common Ofuriatta living. They didn't know how to arrest Ofuriatta, put him on bail. Nobody says Ofuriatta should not go and seek medical attention. You arrest the person and get bail. You see right now, Osei-Sibe's bail is 623 million or so. The other people 200 million. Yes. So if the person wants to go out, you arrest him, then say, okay, bring sureties, that's guarantors before you travel, etc. So me, and as I'm not surprised Sami Daku is saying I'm not willing to cooperate. It shows the incompetence. He doesn't even understand basic. The first time when the invitation to me leaked, the first thing Ghanaians put out on social media is that how can OSP investigate itself? They didn't learn anything from it. They think it's always only a lawyer who can speak law. What the lay people put out on social media, basic principle, because to the lay person, it was very clear to them that the optics will look very bad. And Sami Daku even has media training. He was a journalist before he became a lawyer. He said that he can't even appreciate this simple thing. So me, I'm not surprised he says I'm not cooperating. Somebody, as I said, the key is that somebody with his boss who didn't know how to arrest Ofuriatta, put him on bail before he traveled. Don't be surprised that such a person today says that I'm not cooperating. The principles are eluding them. Basic principles, first principles are eluding them. So you see why they will have to leave that office, because simple things they don't understand. How would that's what I'm saying, you Fatao, how would it be that you say you want to investigate your MD, you want to investigate or the owner of Joy FM, the power relations, how would that happen? And you think you will get promotion, and you think you can keep your job? It doesn't happen.
Well, welcome back, and I would want to give credit to Joy News for that video that we just showed. So, Austin, I mean, I think it was 2017 or 2018 that there's 2017, the office of the 2017 was created, and as people, we seem to have had high hopes. 8 years down the line, we are already hearing heavy and strong voices, including Parliament, asking that office be closed down, done away with, and put all the authority, or invest rather, in the AG's office. How did we get here?
Let me say one more to your US. We must understand that globally, prosecutorial autonomy is categorized into 3 models. So we have the full independence model, where prosecutorial discretion has no political interference, full independence. Then we have the semi-independence, where there is prosecutorial discretion, but with limited or political supervision. Then we have executive-controlled model. So Ghana, prior to the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, we were practicing the executive-controlled. Particularly when you look at Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution, it vests prosecutorial powers in an entity called Attorney General. So you look at Article 88.1, it creates the Attorney General. So the Attorney General has the mandate to conduct all criminal cases in the name of the Republic. And also all civil cases are done for or by the Attorney General. So we practice, prior to the OSP, we practice the executive controlled model. But the thing is that, KOJO, if the Attorney General had exercised the prosecutorial discretion that gave confidence to Ghanaians, there wouldn't have been the need for people to call for an independent institution. So the clamoring for the office of the OSP was not only a necessity, but it was driven by the fact that Ghanaians wanted to see justice done. The Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now we practice partly, so we have a mix of semi-independence model and we have a mix of executive control model, because don't forget, the Attorney General still exercises prosecutorial discretion, because there's no way you can create an independent prosecutorial institution that will amount to constitutional crisis or it will amount to a breach of the Constitution, because the Attorney General has a sole responsibility to conduct criminal cases. So I think we just need to understand the office is not the sole anti-corruption institution in this country. It looks like we are now imputing the office to be the messiah, the institution that we expect to fight corruption, to chase after the big guys, and chase after the people we suspect to have misconducted themselves or misappropriated funds. But that is where the challenge lies. We expect too much from the office. And you know, even with relationship, if you expect too much from a loved one and they disappoint you, you get heartbreak or heart attack. So I have suggested, Kpebu, that we need not place too much hope or expectation in the OSP. It's just a complementary institution. Don't forget, we have IOCU, we have NIB, we have SHARJ. These are all complementary institutions. They all have focuses. They have areas they need to focus on. So, and don't forget, even I have suggested, if the Attorney General feels, because all these institutions are exercising its powers or its powers, if he feels that they are not doing the work as it is expected, or they are not handling a particular matter, the Attorney General has the power to recall the docket and ask for, and say that, and even go through the matter or take over the matter. This is simple. I think the call for scrapping of the OSP is needless. It is political. In fact, it is politically motivated and misguided and has no evidence. It's not evidence-based. Because if you are saying that the OSP has not done enough, the question is, what do you understand by enough? And what does enough mean to you? That is where we should be interrogating. I think Ghanaians will have to sit up and oppose this call by the political class. Because what they are doing is that this call is misguided, they are trying to preserve their own sanctity or prevent. In fact, the thing is that they want accountability or they want oversight without accountability. So they want to create institutions, but they don't want the institutions to superintend over them or to control what they are doing. That's what the politicians are trying. Why are we not complaining about SHARJ? Why are we not complaining about the NIB? Why are we not complaining about the IOCU? And KOJO, I mean, mind you, this issue about scrapping the OSP has been fueled by the experience of Martin Kpebu.
Right.
And the question should be, is Martin Kpebu above the law? What is the narrative? There's a completely incompatible narrative. The OSP is saying that Martin Kpebu obstructed a lawful officer of the office. Martin Kpebu is saying that the officer was first to verbally attack him. These are mutually incompatible narratives, which will require an independent fact-finding investigation. But beyond it, KOJO, Legally, obstruction is not trivial. Legally, obstruction is not trivial. When you look at section 69(3) of the OSP Act, that's Office of the Special Prosecutor 2017 Act 959, it says that it is a criminal offense if you obstruct an officer from the conduct of a lawful duty. Criminal offense. And it prescribes a sanction between 200 to 700 penalty unit or imprisonment terms between 15 months to 36 months.
Okay.
So it's not, we shouldn't take this thing lightly and claim and assume that because of Martin Kpebu's experience. But let me make this point, Kojo. The thing is that Martin Kpebu's experience is one of the many lived experiences Ghanaians are going through daily at Yoko, at NIB, at the police. Why are they not talking about it? Why is Parliament or parliamentarians not talking about collapsing the police service or Yoko or NIB? These are matters we should be interrogating. Broader conversation. Let's not narrow the conversation. Other than that, we are not serving anybody. Could you understand?
Yes.
So these are matters we should be looking at. I'm saying that Ghanaians, as we are talking, many Ghanaians are going through such experiences in the hands of the police, Yoko, NIB. Why are we not talking about that? If we want to really address this issue of manhandling of persons or suspected individuals or accused persons or suspects, we should broaden the conversation, rope in the other security agencies so that we can.
I'm joined in the studio by Bernard MORNAH, the leader of the PNC. Senior, good morning.
Boss, morning.
I hope you're good.
Forgive my coming late.
Don't worry. I miss your presence. So even though you are here, that's the most important thing for me right now.
Typically, Fridays are happy days for me. So. And particularly when it was Farmers' Day, my wife insisted that we ought to go out.
Right.
And then we went out.
You overdid it. That's good to know. But
she set her alarm to wake me up. Then she'll say, "You have a program?" Then I say, "Okay, give me for a few minutes."
That is always the trick. If the alarm sounds the first one and you make a mistake, say, "Oh, let me sleep some more." That's more than the first one. Anyway, so back to if you look at, and as Austin mentioned, the OSP is not the only office that is supposed to fight corruption and corruption-related activities. If you look at the office of the Attorney General, how long it's been in existence. If you look at the CID office, how long it's been in existence. If you look at even the FIC, how long it's been in existence. If you look at SHRAJ, like he mentioned, Yoko, all these institutions have been in existence for a very long time, and over the years, they've been able to grow administratively, mature to where it is today that we have trust. Why are we not giving the OSP office that same level of tolerance that we have given to these ones over the years?
Well, good morning to you. Good morning to my brother. And let me say that the call can certainly not be needless. It is needful for the scrapping of the OSP. And if you listen to the arguments from some ones of us, before the OSP was even created, we raised very eminent issues regarding the multiplicity of such institutions, that we have had and continue to have enough of those institutions, that we should rather be looking at the efficacy of those institutions, how to make them effectual, rather than creating new spend forces for our nation. And we have been vindicated this morning that he is making allusion to the many institutions that are supposed to help us to fight this graft, that possibly we have not been able to overcome. And therefore, the OSP will not be the panacea to fighting it. It means that if we scrap the OSP, build or even fuse the anti-corruption institutions, empower them, insulate them from governmental or executive control, we will be able to drive home better results than having multiplicity of them. Secondly, let me make a joke out of it. My brother is saying that why are we targeting or why are we taking on OSP? I would like to take a trip with you in town, just as I did I came through the ring road where the former President Akufo-Addo's father's hotel used to be. Just when I was to enter the road and turn to this direction, 2 vehicles passed. The traffic was red. And one crossed, the other crossed. The one that crossed first was stopped by the police, and the second one crossed. Even crossed probably at the time that the amber was just exiting.
Yes. But the one who crossed
properly went off. The police did not go chasing him. They have found a traffic offender. So in the many institutions fighting corruption, if today Iyoko, OSP, is the one that the police has arrested, then you come and say that, no, why are you targeting OSP? The others too have crossed traffic light. No, that is not the issue here. Did you actually cross traffic light? And so for me, what is it that Iyoko, and he alluded positively, that there are prosecutorial powers, that the Attorney General still have oversight over the OSP.
Right.
The Attorney General is appointed by who?
The President.
And is partisan.
Yes.
The Office of the Special Prosecutor or the Special Prosecutor is appointed by who?
The President.
So where's the partisanship coming from? So all or both, in this instance, are appointed by one appointor. So you cannot say that one is more political. These institutions without executive appointees, appointments. But all the institutions that we are talking here, which one of them is not appointed by a president? And assuming that partisanship is evoked because they are appointed by a president, then bro, this argument cannot stand. That some politicians want to take over because Attorney General is appointed. You see, let me come to the recent issue, which I thought no one should be making the argument about Martin Kpebu. The issue of obstruction should be investigated by OSP. Should it be investigated by OSP? The OSP simply have to make a report to appropriate institutions like the Ghana Police Service. And they will carry out their investigations. Not the OSP leveling allegations against you, which you are denying, and then he goes ahead to be demanding punitive or imposing punitive measures, including going to see landed property and what have you, wasting our resources. Take Martin Kpebu, move him here, carry vehicles, take officials. We are overspending on a matter that could simply be handled by the police and other institutions. Right? We don't need to take the vehicles, fuel them, ensure that drivers are moved to go and do what we are doing. When it is a simple matter that, look, the man obstructed an officer. For that matter, the investigation should be taken by an independent body. Second or third, in the issue regarding Martin Kpebu, he makes allegation against you. And you are clothed with the same authority to say you want to investigate it. So I sit here and you make allegations against me. And I now call you to come and justify. If I think that you have made allegations that are not tenable, I have to report you.
Is the office not distinct from the officers of the office? Because his claim or his Martin's issue is with the special prosecutor, AHIAGBAH himself, not his office, unless I'm mistaken.
So therefore, AHIAGBAH makes a formal complaint.
So he's made a formal complaint to OSP, the office.
Which one?
The office.
The office that he's heading. It's like me being a judge and reporting myself to the law court. And then the matter comes, and I am the judge sitting over and presiding over. So assuming that Martin attacked the OSP and his integrity, then the OSP would have to sit back and say, look, my integrity has been subjected to defamation, to unnecessary attacks. Please, can you come in? Report to other appropriate institutions. But you cannot be the one to be holding the boy. See, I say boy. Sorry.
Boy man.
You cannot be the one to be holding him and insisting that you want to exert your pound of flesh and think that people will sit down and watch you. If somebody has attacked your persona, it is not for you to now come and say that, look, I want to deal with you. So this intimidation put on Martin Kpebu is needless. It's unacceptable. It doesn't sit well for the impartiality of an institution of this caliber. And that is why most often, when there is an issue, even when you are a judge, you are a lawyer, and you have a case, you are expected to go and bring another lawyer. So, you see...
Bernard, before you continue, earlier you mentioned that if what Martin did, i.e. Going in there and obstructing them performing their duties, if indeed is the case, then what we were supposed to do was to report to the police.
Absolutely.
Now, if you read the Special Prosecutors Act on, I think...
69,
even 28 says that the officers, they have the power to exercise the powers of the police. It says the special prosecutor and authorized officers shall exercise the powers of a police officer specified in the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act 1960. So what it simply means
I am saying that
they can arrest.
So who are they arresting for who? Who are they arresting for who? Because you are making the allegation. Martin Kpebu say, I did not assault, I did not obstruct. And you are the one making the allegations. So what it means is that you will not be impartial. There is certainly, because Martin Kpebu has said so many things that you are not pleased with, for which reason you are dragging him before yourself. And then you come and say that, look, your scenario has been compounded because you even obstructed an officer.
But that's the case Austin is making. Now, we've had instances where people have made allegations against the IGP, and we end up having the police pick these people up.
And then we always agree.
So that's the...
do we always agree?
But he's asking, why have we not asked
do
for
we
the
always
IGP's
agree? I have been victim of... Look, this current IGP, if you ask my opinion, I have different opinion. Because why? I went on protestations that possibly will lead to the removal of the MPP and Nanado. In those protestations, this IDP led people to come and beat us.
Yep. When he was deputy.
Then he was deputy, you remember? They beat us mercilessly. And today, when there is a change of government, he is a beneficiary that has been uplifted. What do I say? Do I go crying to Mr. President that, look, Mr. President, this is the man that was leading his peers to beat us? They beat us. And I can give you just one example, and you will see how it was 28th June 2024. You remember? When we did the 2-day demonstration.
Yes.
On the 28th of June, look at the beating we were subjected to. What was our crime? You said we cannot use coming through the Nima police station and climbing the Sankara interchange or Aqua, the interchange, our path. We were in the same location. We were overbeaten. We were overbeaten. Ofoso fell off a Kia truck. Asiedun Ketia jumped and dived in a car. Those actions have made you IGP today. So I am saying that we don't go back to those things. Like I said, the office of the special prosecutor has not added to the fight against corruption. And I've seen Sami, my brother, that I respect and he knows I respect him, Dako, bring a litany of what they call achievements. And then I also come to see a very spurious comparison, saying that why? They have to build an office from scratch, so their budget, the Speaker of Parliament is uninformed. If you recall, from the outset, Speaker Bagbin in Parliament said that the office of the Special Prosecutor was needless. before it was brought into office. I maintain that it is still needless, because if we sit here and we say that IOCO has not exacted what we want, we sit here and say FIC has not exacted what we want, we sit here and say that the BNI, now NIB, has not exacted what we want, the CID, the SHRAJ, then why are we creating more multiplicity of the same institutions when probably the question is, how do we insulate them from executive control? 2, how do we empower them so that they can conduct their work independently and impartially? Kisi Ajabe, you don't know? You don't know that it was Gabi Asiridaku who first pronounced that Kisi Ajabe could be a better special prosecutor? When many people did not even know Kisi Ajabe and his power, his legal control. Gabi, and you know those days when Gabi speaks, Akufo-Addo has spoken, Ken Ofori-Atta has spoken. And go and check the tweets, and you come to the very lucid conclusion that, look, Kisi Ajabe's appointment, if we are talking about partisanship, then you cannot run away from that.
Okay, right, thank you. Viewers, we've been joined in studio by my brother, Kwame OWUSU DANSO, President, in fact, His Excellency Kwame OWUSU DANSO, President. I should have called Bernard MORNAH also His Excellency, forgive me.
I am
President.
I am a true comrade. Brother Gaddafi did not cherish being called president.
Okay, so I'll call you brother.
Yet,
brother
that he was a leader of such huge magnitude.
So, Brother Bernard MORNAH.
Yeah. So
Kwame OWUSU DANSO, President, Accountability Forum. Kwame, good morning.
A very good morning to you, KOJO.
How are you doing?
You only look for me when it is Saturday.
Why are you doing this thing on set? You're telling the whole nation I'm not a good friend. Don't do that. Well, we're also joined on Zoom by Dr. ABDUL-JALILU ATEKU, lecturer with the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana.
He didn't go clubbing. Doctor didn't go clubbing.
Yes,
he declined to come to the studio.
You know, I like it when he's on set. I don't know why he usually likes to join us via Zoom.
My panel says
we will demonstrate.
They will demonstrate against you not joining us.
Well, I'm not wearing red today, so.
Yeah, Doc, good morning. Don't worry. They don't know that I asked you to join on Zoom, so the demonstration should be against me, so not you. Doc, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Doc. How are you doing too?
Yeah, I'm doing very well.
Right.
And
so now
morning to the panelists, my colleagues there.
Okay. Now that I have your attention, Doc, I'll ask the same question I asked my first two panelists. Asking for to do away with the office of the special prosecutor, is that the solution? Is that what would make the whole situation get better? Is that what would improve our fight against corruption and corruption-related activities?
Yeah, KOJO, thank you very much. I think we began this conversation on Wednesday on Focus, right? And I said that I do not support the call for the removal of the special, and I still stand by that. I mean, there were some development. So I think that we should put the two into perspective. One has to do with Martin Kpebu's invitation and then the subsequent detention. In my view, I think that it was needless, right? Because, and I heard, I mean, my brother, the lawyer, right, explaining.
Oh, okay, Austin, yes.
Yes, some of the charges and all that he was obstructing justice. In my view, I mean, this is some of Martin Kpebu was not the subject of investigation. He made specific allegations against the special prosecutor, and then you invited him. Okay, so what justice was he obstructing? To give you the information. So if Martin Kpebu was the subject of investigation, in my view, it's a different thing. But you invited him to come and give you, maybe, as we normally say, further and better particulars or something, and which in my view was not even necessary, right? Because he made specific allegation against, I mean, your office, and I do not think it was necessary for him, I mean, for them to have invited, because if you do so, it's like you are trying to gag people from criticizing your office. And if you are an officer, a public officer, and you do not want people to criticize you, right, then it means that, in my view, then there are issues. So I think that, in my view, that was needless, okay? I mean, his property in his name, in my view, those things were needless because he was not the subject of investigation. You invited him to come and give you maybe further information or whatever. So let's put that in context. Now, let's come up to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, right? I mean, there were a number of issues at the time, I mean, prior to the creation of the Special Prosecutors, or the Office of the Special Prosecutor. One has to do with the political issue that, I mean, over the period, right, we have noticed that governments are not able to hold to the government that had left, right, and it was not a good thing. So it's because the Attorney General who prosecutes, I mean, such matters is a member of the executive and all that. So that was just one of those reasons. Okay, there were also issues about institutional impotence. Okay, we had Siraj, I mean the BNI, which is not the NIB, even Public Account Committee, auditing and all that. But there were a number of issues. Okay, so that was why the idea was mooted to establish, I mean, an independent body that is responsible for corruption and corruption-related cases, all right? So, and I think this went through the process, through Parliament and all that. So it was passed into law. But so let's try to look at, I mean, if we say that we are scrapping the office, all right, then what happened to those issues that prevailed before the establishment of the Special Prosecutor? So I think that the Special Prosecutor position in my office is still relevant, because if you look at the Act, I read the Act again, okay, if you look at the Act, okay, you can see that this Act specifically established that institution for a purpose, to fight, I mean, graft, okay? So in terms of investigations, for example, if you look at it, you can see that there is, I mean, a shift from the usual burden of proof rules, okay, especially on matters of assets and then assets recovery by the Special Prosecutor, where so you realize that, I mean, the suspects are supposed to declare their assets. There are provisions on seizure of tainted assets. There are provisions on disclosures. There are provisions of freezing, and there are provisions of confiscation. So these are tools that are necessary to facilitate the prosecution or the investigation and the subsequent, I mean, normal, I mean, traditional burden of proof that they use. Even though, in terms of, I mean, prosecuting the case in court, Special Prosecutor also relies, I mean, goes through that. But in terms of investigation, okay, so if you look at all these declarations, seizure, disclosure, freezing, and then confiscation, I think these are new things that have been added, which previously were not there. The only thing I can say is the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020 and 44, where there are some, I mean, reverse onus provisions, okay? So if you look at this, it was purely established. Now, so we should look at, now there is what ought to be, which is the act that we have and what Special Prosecutor is supposed to do. The other aspect, what is now, the problem is how, I mean, those that are supposed to contribute, okay, to make the Special Prosecutor effective. I think that is where the problem is. The Special Prosecutor, like I indicated on Wednesday, was created, I mean, if you look at the creation, there was no sincerity in the creation. It was, in my view, it was created by the MPP to deal with specific people, the NDC that was leaving, right? So if you look at the argument at the time, people raised the issues about, I mean, Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution, that, I mean, it is only the, I mean, the Attorney General and all, so those issues were raised. But at the time, so it was like, okay, let's create it to deal with ABS. But when Martin Abidu was appointed as the first Special Prosecutor, you realize that when he decided to be himself, like the Martin Amidu that we all know, then, I mean, he started hitting, I mean, it was very difficult for him to make this in. And that's why he started writing articles and what have you. Okay, now another one was appointed after Martin Amidu left, and then he also decided to be, giving us press conferences and all that, chronicling the bottlenecks, okay? So in my view, we should rather be looking at how to address the problems of the the Office of the Special Prosecutor, so that it will be effective. Already we have created it. It's because of the other institutions were not able to do certain things. So it's okay, then we need an independent body to be responsible for only corruption and corruption-related cases. So I think that we should rather try to find out the challenges, right, over the period. It's just about 7 years or so. So I do not think that the whole parliament should pass an act to establish an institution, and within just about 7 years, less than 10 years, we are saying that it should be scrapped. And if you look at the debate, I follow the debate in parliament, okay? For example, Honorable Muhammad AHIAGBAH, the leader of the House, he said that the fighting corruption is a function of political leadership, which I agree with him. And he said that if you look at President Mahama, because of his commitment to fighting corruption, that is why over the period, okay, for about 1 year now, they have not recorded any scandal. And actually that is very good and it's commendable. But the issue is that he should have also averted his mind to the fact that we will not get, we can have another person who also come, and the person will not be the President Mahama that we know who is committed to fighting corruption. So another circumstance, what do we have? Look at over the past 8 years, right? What we experienced under the MPP in terms of corruption and all that, right? So if we say that because President Mahama is someone who is very committed, how sure are we that we are going to get, the next 4 years, 8 years, we are going to continue having President Mahama type of leaders. Okay. So that is why it is important to strengthen the existing institutions that we have. Now, Office of Special Prosecutor is now an existing institution. What are the challenges that institution is facing? So we should rather be thinking about addressing it to make it effective so that it will play a complementary role. So in my view, I think these are the clear issue. I do not support any, this that Special Prosecutor Office should be scrapped. If people have issues with individual like Special Prosecutor, allegations of corruption, and incompetence and whatever, people within the law, it is there that you can raise. So I think that we should allow that those processes unfolded, and then we see if there are some wrongdoing. Public officers must at every moment in time be accountable to the people.
Thank you, Doc.
So that must be established, but that doesn't mean that if it is proven that someone is incompetent, that doesn't mean that the institution should be scrapped.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Kwame. So there are 3 issues at play now for me. There is an issue with Martin Kpebu. There is an issue with petition against Kisia Jabin himself, and then there's a discussion on the scrapping of the office. These are 3. Yeah. So for me, I want to let's stay on the Martin. We would gradually evolve to the other ones. Now, Austin earlier mentioned that what Martin did, and then in the premises of the OSP, i.e. the said exchange of words with the security. He was arrested and detained because of the 69 of the OSP Act. Now, if you read 28, seizure and obstruction of authorized officer. And he goes ahead to define what it means by obstruction, search, blah, blah, blah. It says, a person who, A, fails to comply with a lawful demand of an authorized officer in the performance of functions under this act. B, fails to produce property declared to be seized under this act. C, conceals or attempts to conceal property liable to seizure under this act, or furnishes information to an authorized officer which the person knows to be false. Then it goes ahead. 2, a person who refuses an authorized officer's access to premises or refuses to submit to a search. Or B, assaults an authorized officer in the performance of a function, distracts an authorized officer from performing a function under this act, commits an offense, and is liable. So I think what they are alluding to is another 2, where they said don't take, you can't do recordings here, and according to the both accounts, there was some form of heated argument. Can that, in its sense, be enough grounds because I insulted a policeman or a soldier, be enough to say that I have breached the 2 and so I am being detained, such that even the conditions for bail has to be a landed property?
Let me say a special good morning to you, KOJO, and to our viewers, and to my senior comrade Bernard MORNAH, and my colleague Austin. Indeed, it's a very sad spectacle when you view the accounts from the OSP and Martin Kpebu, they the biggest belief as to the, trying to understand the core function or the functions of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And I'll come to Martin. You see, when you were reading the 69, it was very explicit. And I think that even non-lawyers can explain this, that subject to this act. So what it means is that every authority or power that is being exercised by the Office of the Special Prosecutor must do so in consonance with what is contained in the act that established them. So for instance, you were talking about 28, which gives them the power to arrest, search, and seizure. Yes. But that power must not go beyond the periphery of the act. So what act established the OSP? What is it? And why was the OSP established? The OSP was established, if you read, I think, Section 1 of the OSP Act, if you read it, it tells you why the office was established. The office was established ostensibly to deal with the issue of corruption and corruption-related matters. And when you read further down, it expands on persons who fall within the category, to be investigated or prosecuted by the OSP. It talks about, number one, politically exposed persons. Okay? Political people are political and people are politically exposed, and other private individuals. So the mandate, the functions of the OSP is clearly spelled out. OSP cannot act ultra vires, cannot go beyond what is confined or contained in the act. All right? Now, when you talk about the 69, the 69 is also very clear. And the 69, in my respectful opinion, is educating us in relation to, persons who are under investigation. If you read it, it's clear that, for instance, if it is alleged that my Kwame OWUSU DANSO has been involved in corruption or corruption-related matters, and Kwame OWUSU DANSO prevents officers of special prosecutor in exercising their functions, then Kwame OWUSU DANSO would have obstructed what? The officers of the OSP, and therefore can be subjected to this. So it is important that once we are contextualizing, we also give character to what is contained in the act. And with the greatest of respect, I think my senior Kise Jabeng and my brother Samidaku are all aware of this. In fact, I've had the benefit of discussing some of these matters with some persons within the OSP who were very open with me, and they told me that, Kwame, you people have given us too much powers. The act, they are so powerful, but their powers do not extend beyond what is contained in the act, because that is the only thing that gives them the oxygen to operate. Now let's look at Martin's conduct. Why was Martin invited? Was Martin the subject matter of any investigation in relation to corruption or corruption-related matters? No. Martin is alleged to have pontificated that the OSP was corrupt. No, so? And therefore, in order to be with investigation. So if you ask me to come and assist, the OSP has ever invited me before when I alleged, in fact, when it was evidently axiomatic that the All-African 13th game was very, if you like, laced with a lot of corruption. I was invited. I didn't go. And I told you, because the time I sent the petition and the time they invited me, I didn't think it was important. So I did not go. The reason why I could easily not go is because I am not the one who is under investigation. Martin, because the allegation was leveled heavily at the doorstep of the special prosecutor himself, was invited. And in order that he could also either vindicate himself, support whatever claims he's making, or give contrary opinion or views, he had to appear before the. That's what he did. And in the account of Martin, he's been invited about 3 times or more. All of them, he went. The last one, which created all of these conflagrations, is because when he went there, he was prevailed upon by the media to engage the media. And of course, you know, Martin is a media-friendly guy. So he decided to respond to the media. And the truth is that when I sent my petition to All African, I couldn't grant interviews in front of the gate itself. That's a fact. So they made me move away, and then I granted my interview. And that is precisely what happened. But you could also tell from the videos that when I was coming, I was watching you. From the video that you played, exactly, video that you played, Martin was asked to move away, which indeed he did. He moved away from where he was stationed to a yam seller's place. Okay, so there's no departure here in relation to the account of Martin and that of Sameh Darko. Now, what happened in the premises? This is not in the premises. What happened in the premises of the OSP is something that you and I do not have evidence of. So we can only sit here and merely conjecture. It is the words of OSP against that of Martin Kpebu. Right. Martin Kpebu, I'm not sure is a madman.
At least there are two things that are clear.
That are clear.
That there was some form of verbal authentication between, because both of them have said.
So there's no denial. But yes. What I'm saying is that what led to that verbal authentication, you and I, we are not aware, because all of them are giving competing accounts. So whose account should we consider as relevant in this matter? I am saying that given the conduct of the office sometimes, it will not be surprising that this whole saga, what created this whole issue, perhaps, in my respectful opinion, was born out of some misconduct on the part of the security agencies. You see, and how, you know, sometimes how Ghanaians will behave. Because they have some small power, small. They want to show you where power lies. You think you are Martin Kpebu, will deal with you. You see, I'm not there. But I know how people conduct themselves when they are given power and how they behave when they are given power.
That's speculation.
Oh, but were you not sitting here speculating? You sat here and speculated. I was listening to you.
Because if you are speculating,
I was listening to you when I was on my way here. You see, I want to come and deal with you. But you see, lawyers, we respect ourselves. I want to come and deal with you. Because you see, you made some unsubstantiated claims. And you even questioned the integrity of Martin Kpebu. The OSP office is a church. It's not a church. It's an investigative office. And I'm telling you that point of departure, the small point of departure is in relation to who created the problem. Yes. That's the departure. Martin is saying that, and I've known Martin for many, many years. Maybe people don't know. Maybe 15, 20 years. All right? So I know Martin's character and I know Martin's conduct. Martin will not go asking for a fight. That's not how Martin operates. You get the point? So something may have triggered. In law, he knows we have something we call qualifying triggers. Qualifying triggers. What triggered Martin's emotions? Which led him, even if, assuming without admitting, that he was the one who threw the first punch. What infuriated Martin? What did somebody say? What was the conduct of the officers, you know, in the premises of OSP? You and I will know this. So we can only speculate and conjecture. But in the final analysis, what is most relevant is that the office ought not engage itself in matters which are beyond the peripheries of the law which set up the office. They should not do that. And I've heard on many occasions that they invite people who have had commercial transactions with other people who have not used their position. Okay? Because when you say corruption, what's corruption? That Bernard MORNAH is using his privileged position to get benefit from others and then in the final analysis get some financial benefit. That is corruption. On many occasions, those people who have been invited were never, it was purely commercial transactions. They engaged with clients. There was a little, contractual, if you like, breach. Okay? But that did not amount to corruption and corruption-related matters. I don't know if the OSP does not understand the definition of corruption and corruption-related matters. Their core mandate is to investigate corruption and corruption-related matters. And here, let me make reference to what Austin said when I was on my way here, listening to you, Kojo. That he said that there are other state institutions that are mandated to investigate such matters. Go and read the functions of the Attorney General, even the Attorney General. Go and read the functions of the Attorney General. The Attorney General is the chief advisor to the President. or to the state, the chief advisor. So there are some functions that the Attorney General may not be able to perform. Are you saying that the Attorney General, in the event that the president is found to be corrupt, the Attorney General can investigate the president? No. The National Investigative Bureau, they are also involved in matters which does not directly find expression in corruption and corruption-related matters. Go and read their functions. If you read IOCU, the functions of IOCU, it is specific. Okay. That economic and organized crimes. So they do visa racketeering, money laundering, sponsorship of terrorism. All those things are the core functions of IOCU. IOCU, SRAJ, Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, on human rights matters. So the setting up of this office was very specific because it got to a point where it was evidently clear to all of us that people were abusing their offices, taking advantage of people in any event. When there was a matter in which Ken Ofori-Atta was involved, when we were told that his company was benefiting from all transactions, the OSP investigates that matter. When there was clear conflict of interest, that the finance minister was awarding deals to his own financial institution, was he invited by the OSP to come and respond to that? So I am saying, in the final analysis, all what we need, I am not for the scrapping of the office. I don't believe in the scrapping of the office.
We'll come to the scrapping of the office.
But in concluding, look, whenever I come and sit here and I make my submission, which submission does not really sound soothing to the ears of the host, I always get a text message. I don't send the text message to you guys, but I always get a text message. There are friends of mine there. There are people that I really cherish who are working with the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And they are my friends. They are my friends. But I think that they must be measured. Now, I also do think, and it's just maybe in concluding, a pure caution to my brother and senior AHIAGBAH Martin Kpebu, that it is not in all cases that you speak or that you address the media. You understand what I'm saying? Because people get infuriated by varied things. One of such could be this, that I want to just caution my senior brother Martin Kpebu, that if you have any evidence, because the rule of the game is evidence, against the Office of Special Prosecutor, you must present same. I agree when he states that the Office of the Special Prosecutor cannot investigate itself. The junior officers cannot investigate their boss. That's Martin's position. But that is not for you and I to make a determination of. Go through the process, due process, follow the due process. If in a final analysis, the evidence that you have is weightier and it's not been relied upon by the officers in the conduct of their investigations, then you can grant an interview to the media and say that, well, look at my evidence. This is what I brought. But it appears that the junior officers were unable to investigate the matter thoroughly. So I want them both to be measured. And in going forward, let's have a proper pathway to deal with these matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I understand we've also been joined online by Richard AHIAGBAH, the Communications Director for the New Patriotic Party. Why is he not here? I asked him also to join me on Zoom.
But why would you do that?
I won't give you an opportunity to join us, so don't say it. Good morning, Richard.
Richard is not.
Good morning, KOJO. How are you?
Bernard, I was fine till Bernard and Kwame decided to hound me for asking you to join on Zoom and not come here in person.
Namesake, but unfortunately, I had left to be part of some program outside Accra, which is the reason I couldn't be there. But I'll be there the next time you invite me.
Right, thank you. Bernard wanted to use my platform to do reunion.
Oh, but you know, Bernard, and I'm surprised he's not wearing his beret today.
No, he is. He's wearing it.
Which is a saving grace for all of us.
No, he is wearing his beret today.
Oh, is he?
Yes. I'm sure with time I'm sure now you can see on your screen.
I see.
Yes, he's wearing it.
He's always in trouble causing mode when he's wearing it.
This morning he's been calm because he did not sleep a lot yesterday evening and this dawn, so he's a bit calm. He said it.
I think the two of us have been traveling also much of yesterday.
Unfortunately,
Because she just came here with me. And so we went around. We went to a number of spots.
I will ask her after the show.
So you just said
whatever I did was with her.
Please, this is a national television. Let's okay, Richard. So yes, your party and your government set up the office of the special prosecutor. We'll talk about this decision whether to close it down or not. But on the issue of the authentication with Martin Kpebu, we have heard a lot of. Then Martin gets an issue, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, Parliament now is discussing the expenditure against the budget of the special prosecutor as against the accomplishment and all that. As the director of communication for the former the party for the former government, what is your take on this?
Well, Kujo, thank you, and very good morning to my brothers with you. I'm scanning the studio. I don't see HAMZA SUHUYINI there. I'm sure he's supposed to be part of the program. If he's online, good morning to him. And my professor, Dr. Jalilu ATEKU. I have an issue to pick with him on this. So maybe towards the end, could you remind me so I can react to something Dr. said. It is true. The conversation about the closing down of the abrogation or the cancelling or the killing of the Office of Special Prosecutor has been raging following the arrest of our brother Martin Kpebu. It's now being discussed in Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament says that let's let Parliament, repeal the act, and a host of NDC people are speaking to this. And suddenly, I'm beginning to wonder. And my question, or perhaps my reflection, is that could you to close down the Office of Special Prosecutor, could you? It's not reform. You don't just close the fire station because the heat is too much for you. We've been talking about this matter, not only of the Special Prosecutor, but of the entire, anti-corruption and security services since the NDC came to power, that they are getting excessive, they are becoming excessive, they are being abusive, they are stretching the law to its unreasonable limits in dealing with citizens. They are detaining wrongly, contrary in most cases to law, and they are putting onerous bail conditions as a decoy to hold people in perpetual detention. We've talked about this, but the NDC was as quiet as a group of people who could not talk. They were quiet, very, very quiet, and their silence was deafening in this country. And we talked about it ad nauseum, and they didn't say anything. They all got activated. Speaker says, let's repeal it. It's interesting. I have my position and my reservation with the exact conduct of the Special Prosecutor in the arrest of Martin Kpebu and in the arrest of other people, including your own colleague in the media, Paula Dumotri, and then the treatment given to Madame Cecilia Dapa, the way he treated Ken Oforiatta in pursuing some allegations he has of corruption against these individuals. I think that the whole business of democracy, and we had this conversation in your studio the last time, the whole business of democracy is to be able to protect the rights and liberties of citizens. And so if we have created institutions in protecting the rights and liberties of citizens to ensure that whilst that is being done, bad people are not abusing their own offices to enrich themselves, that creation does not supersede the fundamental purpose. Is mandated to fight corruption. It does not supersede the whole motive of democracy, which is to create a certain society in which citizens' rights or citizens have their rights, their God-given rights are not infringed, but especially the whole infrastructure of democracy. And that is the problem. So if the NDC is just woken up from their slumber and says that they want to annul the office, well, they are welcome to the party. But that will not be reform. That will not resolve the issue, the concerns Ghanaians have, okay, about corruption and the need to fight corruption, because corruption has not been dealt with. There's a need to fight corruption, but we need to find a smart balance between the exercise of the power in that office to be able to achieve, you know, the objective of the office, which is to fight corruption and corruption-related acts. So where I stand, this whole thing is surprising. The NDC claimed that they didn't support the act when it was being passed in 2017. And so therefore they hold that position. The question is that why all this while, when the special prosecutor was harassing Ken Ofori-Atta and many other people, they didn't say that. But they are saying so now because their darling boy, their media agent provocateur is been arrested unjustifiably. Of course, let me say so that I disagree with the treatment, because as one who believes in democracy and believe that this whole experiment in the Fourth Republic and the republics before it is to ensure that the rights of citizens are guaranteed, that we who are born as free people have a legal framework, have a society within which we can exercise that God-given right without any government, without any power limiting that right for us. That must not be infringed in the pursuit of anybody's mandate, if even be the president of the republic. And so for me, I believe that if the NDC wants to annul the office, they should go ahead and do it, but it shouldn't hide behind what we believe to be a challenge and the excesses of the occupants of the office now, as their, you know, basis for removing or for annulling the office. This is, if I can say it that way, this is a political position they've held from the beginning. They should proceed on that tangent. Meanwhile, I think that the current situation is to do with the occupant of the office, not the act. The act is sufficient. The act is resolute. In fact, if we want to proceed and assuming that all of us agree, okay, on the office, the act establishing the office, and to some extent, just for purposes of making the point that we agree also that the special prosecutor in office has not done anything wrong, particularly in the arrest of Martin Kpebu. We all agree around the table, just hypothetical. If we agree to that extent, the act provides sufficient, okay, avenues in terms of independence for the office to actually proceed its work without recourse to government funding, because a part of the act actually provides for funding through grants. So if, assuming that government funding is an issue where I think the speaker talks about possibly the allocations to the office has been wasteful because we have not seen any material results from the office, the OSP, with all of our support, assuming he was doing the right thing, with all of our support, the office can carry on if government decides not to fund it by pursuing the grant option. But the only problem now is that we all don't agree. We don't agree, and personally, I don't agree on how the special prosecutor has proceeded with his work. It is not a fault with the institution or the establishment of the OSP, and so therefore the office of OSP is no longer needed. We need it. but it is the occupants of the office who sometimes get carried away, get absorbed, okay, with the powers available to the office, and uses that to curtail the democratic rights, the human rights of citizens who he is supposed to be serving, and not to be bullying as part of his job. So for me, I think that we need to separate the issues. We talk about the individual in the office and his conduct, whether or not it's acceptable, is in consonance with democratic values, and respects the human rights of citizens who are his boss, and not him being their boss. Let's not lump the two together and say that it is both the office, the establishment, and the person that need to be jettisoned. I don't think that is quite the way we should proceed. So I respectfully disagree with the NDC position. They can tell us that it has been their next ambition to remove the office. They've been nurturing that for when this thing was passed. If that is the position, they should advance it. But I think that we need to be careful to separate the office from the occupant. And for me, the establishment of OSP still remains valid. We need to get individuals in there who respect the rights of Ghanaians. They are both their political, democratic, and human rights of Ghanaians, and in pursuit of their job, and not think that they are the bosses. But having said that, KOJO, let me sharply disagree with Dr. ABDUL-JALILU on a statement he made earlier about the MPP established OSP to target NDC. Completely unfounded. Respectfully, there is no merit in that allegation. I think that we should jettison that idea and not repeat it. But the point is that as a country, corruption is a challenge, and we need to work in concert to fight it, but we must do so ensuring that it doesn't breach the rights of citizens in a democratic setup, so that we are making sure that the rights of citizens are sacrosanct in a democracy, because short of that, this democracy can be upended, and I don't think that that's what we ought to be pursuing at this point.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Austin. So let me just move away a bit from the Martin issue to the OSP as an office as against the special prosecutor. Now, the complaints we seem to be getting, is it a complaint about and you've made that earlier, that you don't think the OSP as an office should be scrapped? Is the complaint being received about the OSP as an office not being efficient, not needed, not being the right vehicle to carry corruption and corruption-related issues? Or is a complaint about the officers manning the office not being effective and competent enough to run the agenda as is?
Well, I think there are two issues at stake here. So the first one has to do with whether or not the institution itself is relevant, which I have said that it is relevant, because looking at our constitutional framework and democratic experiment, we need such an institution. Why? Because it is not every criminal matter that you expect the officer of the Attorney General to undertake. And Kwame alluded to that because of the political nature, and even Bernard touched on it. Because this is a political appointee, so clearly, like I intimated earlier, because the office of the Attorney General has been, over the years, been unable to exercise that political, that prosecutorial discretion that we expect, that we inject confidence in Ghanaians. This issue led to the calls for the formation of an independent institution. But the issue is that, are there excesses in the discharge of the work of, or the mandate of the OSP? Yes, absolutely. Because I have said that, times without number, that the OSP, surprisingly, being manned by a lawyer, a distinguished lawyer, has weaponized bail, the bail conditions. How do you arrest and detain a suspect and say that the person should bring property in the person's name? Because he allegedly insulted somebody. One of that, don't forget the issue with Paul Adumotri. He was asked to produce a property in his own name. And the gentleman says, I don't have it. And he said, no, we won't release you until you produce one because we know you have. I mean, these are issues we should be dealing with. And now I've said that this particular issue, weaponization of bail conditions, is not one of or a peculiar issue with the OSP. Look at the other security agencies, the police, Yoko, NIB. These are all, I mean, these institutions are all guilty, or they all have long histories of such incidents. And Kojo, I have said that the OSP itself, if the OSP is in the news today, it's because of their own doing. Why? Some of their officers are too combative. And now I've said that if a taxpayer asks questions on social media about the progress of matters like Kenoforiata and Sisela Penko, their response, if you read their response, they are too combative. It's like they are telling you should know, but these are lay people. You shouldn't expect. These are supposed to engage in corporate communication. Be civilized when you are communicating with people, but you are not doing that. So now, that's why you are losing Ghanaians. If Ghanaians today are not happy with the OSP, it's because the OSP itself has not conducted itself in a manner that, endangers confidence or encourage Ghanaians to repose confidence in the OSP. So, there are two things. The OSP as an office must stay. And I think we need to get the president, if the president is listening to us, which I know he is, the president must get his men to stop this call. We need the OSP. If you have issues with the way they conduct their activities, reform. That's talking about reforms. These are matters we should be talking about. Let's make sure that this, because this is the issue. When you read the Constitution, it is clear that when you are detaining somebody, you cannot detain the person beyond 48 hours. But most of our security agencies, they do beyond 48 hours. What are the ramifications? Supreme Court has said that 48 hours means 48 hours. But what are the sanctions? No sanctions. These people continue to pull. The question is simple. When you place bail conditions on, let's say you place bail conditions on people and they are unable to meet it, what does it mean? It means that you cannot release them. So if you cannot release them, there's a constitutional injunction on you to produce a person before the court, for the court to sanction their continuous detention. Remand. That's it. But they don't do it. They keep you there. And if your lawyers are not up to tax, you'll be there.
Or they are not popular.
So you see, if your lawyers are not up to tax, or even if they are not alive to their duties, they will not go to court to ask you to be produced and for the court to determine whether or not the bail condition, the so-called bail, but these are things that should drive reforms. These are things I was expecting Parliament, when they had opportunity to dock and dilate upon the issue, to discuss. But, in fact, they are rather talking about something else. Instead of the major reforms that will bring, in fact, relief to Ghanaians. I'm telling you, and Kojo, I intimated that many Ghanaians are going through what Martin went through. Was I happy with the way they treated Martin? No. But I was just trying to say that let's broaden the conversation. Martin's
was Untumi with OSP or Yoko?
Untumi was with Yoko. It was with Yoko. You remember when almost close to getting to 1 month or so. Do you understand?
Now, at least I have somebody to join my crusade. I want to go to court on this matter.
Yes, I think it's a useful.
I've written countless articles on it. As for bail conditions,
I'll support it. Yeah. Just have me on board. But these are matters I want us to be talking about. When the Supreme Court made pronouncement on the 48-hour rule,
they say Martin Kpebu.
They say Martin Kpebu number 2. They didn't prescribe the sanctions. That's why the police, Yoko, NIB, they can misconduct themselves in manner they don't care because there are no sanctions. I think we need public accountability. And I was happy when Bernard touched on the independence. I think if we want to really fight corruption, we need to do a good job. But Kojo, let me tell you this. You know, as of today, the OSP doesn't have a board, a standing board. Are you aware?
Yes.
And this is nearly 12 months after this government took office. Is that not surprising? This should not be seen as a minor oversight. This is a grave governance lapse. Don't forget that when you look at Section 25 of the OSP Act, the board plays a critical role developing code of conduct for office, providing administrative oversight, and even when it comes to audit of the financials of the OSP. So if this government is mindful and really committed to anti-corruption fight, the president should immediately, the president should immediately constitute a standing board for the OSP, because see, some of the excesses that we're experiencing and we are complaining about with regards to the work of the OSP, they emanate from the absence of the board. Because when there's a board, the chairman, obviously, and the board members may have opportunity to discuss some of these issues and bring the OSP, the special prosecutor, to order. So the president should be prioritizing the setting up of the standing board.
Thank you. Thank you. So before Kwame, I'll come to you next, but I would want to show a bit of infographics on the OSP over the years. It has some infographics. It calls it the 2025 Infocos.
Commissioned by Samidako.
Yes, it starts from account 1. So let's start from the first count. What I have right now is a 789. I think it starts from the first one where it talks about the fact that it has had 7. It talks about the prosecutions. It says 7 convictions secured so far. There are 33 persons currently standing trial. There's 1 case on appeal. That's the case in respect of vote buying. Then there are 6 new prosecutions initiated in 2025, which brings the total number of active cases to 8. When it comes to investigations, they have 71 cases at full investigation stages, or the stage of the full investigation. There are 40 new cases opened in 2025. And then there are cases over multiple sectors that they are looking at. They indicate in point 3 that they have saved the state 5.73 billion Ghana cedis, 5.73 billion Ghana cedis. And they've given a breakdown of this saving, that the transaction audit price verification saved 533 million. There was downstreaming petroleum measurement. There was upstream petroleum and minerals audit. In the crude oil oversight, they saved money. In the gold sector payment, they saved money. The termination of the Ivatex Logistics, that's the Ghana Airport Corporation, Company Limited, contract, they saved money. They've also shown the direct recoveries that they have done. From payroll audits, they did some recoveries from payroll audits. From some plea bargains, they saved some money. From the petroleum product diversion investigations, they saved money. And also from the MIIF, they saved 2 million Ghana cedis. Some asset seizures that they have done runs into 102 million Ghana cedis. They've prevented, when talking about prevention and public education, it's about 9.4 billion people have been reached by the OSP, 9.4 million people. They've started the Youth Against Corruption program. Basically, they have 10 in-person sessions in Accra. So this is basically education and public awareness creation. They've engaged 4,136 students in Accra.
Never heard of it.
They have engaged 210 youth in Tamale, engaged 350 young leaders in Koforidua. They have a strong social media presence. Educating.
They engage what?
They call it the Youth Against Corruption. So they are engaging the youth, and they've engaged young people, 350 of them, who are young leaders in Koforidua.
They are not indicating the cost associated with it.
I was going to ask.
They've engaged 20.
Is there cost, is there cost to this engagement?
I don't have.
No, so we have to. So then we have to.
Yeah.
But the engagement cannot just be for free.
RTI.
I mean, yes, you can request for the information if you would want to know. But basically, this, Kwame, this is not an indication of an office that is failing. This is a very effective office. If they have been able to get 7 convictions, we are saying that they've not convicted.
Within which period?
Well, they are looking at 2025 in focus, so I'm sure probably they are looking. Obviously, we know that during the period of Martin, the first Martin, there was no.
So Martin left.
So obviously, he's talking about
3 years
since 20. I think Kisi came in.
So from 2021
that he was
to 2025.
Yeah, so if within 4 years, he's indicating that he has had 7 convictions. He has 33 persons currently standing trial. He has 6 new cases that he opened this year. There's one case that is on book buying that is currently being appealed. He currently has 71 cases at investigating stages. He has 40 new cases opened in this year alone. Clearly, this cannot be an office that is feeling that we have.
So let me. You see, in order to do a proper assessment of the performance or otherwise of the OSP, it is important that you go to the act that established them.
Yes.
If you read section 2 of the act,
okay. So permit me
object of the office, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Object of the office. Yes. Please read it. 1 and 2. 2A and B. 2A, 2B, 2C. Can you read it? 2A, 2B, 2C.
Okay, so let me help with 2A.
Yes.
The object of the the object of the office is to 1, investigate and prosecute specific cases of alleged or suspected corruption and corruption-related offences.
Which they are saying they've done.
They said they've done 7.
So they've procured 7 convictions. 2 or secured 7 convictions. Okay. 2,
recover the proceeds of corruption and corruption-related offences. They've also indicated the recoveries that they have done, about 5.9 billion. They have indicated. 3, take steps to prevent corruption. They are doing the education.
You see, let me tell you something.
So they've done all this.
The people who are at OSP are very intelligent. All right? And I've told you several times that in having discussions with them, okay, they are very intentional about the things they do and how to communicate the things they do. All right? So where there's praise, yes, I'll give them praise. If indeed there have been 7 convictions, I've not been alive to it. I don't know. So if they are saying that they have had 7 convictions,
we'll reach out to
that's fair enough. Because I don't work there.
No, it's in the half-year report.
The report, okay.
Because I don't work there, I don't have the benefit of this information. All right? And with the monies that they recovered, how much was it?
They indicated I think a total of 5 points.
So where is it? Where are the monies?
Obviously, to go to the consolidated funds.
So is there any confirmation? Okay, well, because we need to.
That is what they are saying. The 5.7 is basically what they have saved the nation. But if you want to talk about
they have saved,
yes.
How did they?
It would have happened if not for the and then 2 million USD.
Okay.
Out of the 6.5 million, I think there's also. Sources of the recoveries is 106,000 from the payroll audit, 206,000 from plea bargains, 6.19 million from the petroleum product diversion investigations. And then they've also done some asset seizures, which is to the tune of 102 million Ghana cedis. Yes.
So that's why I'm saying that. I mean, if this clearly is telling of what they have done, I mean, kudos to them. To be honest with you, kudos to them. But there are excesses, and I think that the excesses are the ones that, once somebody performs a function, and it's clear that the functions are in consonance with what established them, I don't have a problem with that at all. What I'm saying is that let's look at the level of performance and whether or not if we had other people there, they could have performed better than this particular OSP. That is precisely, I think that's the conversation. Because the office itself is an institution. Okay? And every institution has mechanisms that it must use in its operations. So if you have been able to recover this and that, yes, the institution itself is what is working. But I'm saying that perhaps if we had Bernard MORNAH seated there as the OSP, maybe we would have recovered more money. Maybe we would have prosecuted more. Maybe we would have done this, would have done that.
So you are not against the scrapping, you are looking at the people.
Look, I have never been for scrapping. You see, and I'm sure we'll come to the EC. I have never been a supporter of just, taking a bow whenever things are tough. You don't do that. You work tirelessly to strengthen institutions. All right? And I will not be burdened by this evil thought and imprisoned by it that we must scrap it. I don't want to go. I don't want to go for that. All I'm saying is this: that there are some officers, in fact, even in that office, it is not all of them who are very aggressive and defensive and who are, acting in ways that does not find expression in the act that established them. There are some, officers who are very law-abiding, who are operating very well. So I'm saying that if we claim that the head of the institution is the one that is not making the institution, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Respectable or efficient, then let's have a conversation around that. You know, but to call for the outright scrapping of it, I think that is too extreme. Right. Now, that's number one. Number two, and I know you want to move to the other topics, and it's important we move to the other topic. Number two, you see, it is very hypocritical. We should scrap the office. It's very hypocritical. Because it is Parliament that gave oxygen to that act. Really? It is Parliament. And you see, in Parliament, you cannot say that this is NDC and this is MPP. No, Parliament is one.
It's a decision.
Parliament is one. Whether you supported it or you are against it, once it's passed, it's passed. It is passed by the 5th Parliament, the 4th Parliament, the 9th Parliament, the 8th Parliament. That is Parliament. You get the point? So they act in concert. So it is very hypocritical for the majority leader to now come and intimate to us that they do not see the relevancy of that office and therefore we must scrap it. It is not materially significant to make that assertion by reason of what? Then we should scrap Parliament. Because there are so many things they've done in that Parliament that people find offensive. That is not representative of the aspirations of the Ghanaian people.
They fight and even chew ballot.
That is the point I'm making. So must we scrap Parliament because somebody has misbehaved or because people have acted in ways that is not patriotic? Must we scrap the Parliament? Right. No, we must not do that. So let us be civil in having those conversations. I am very hopeful. I'm very hopeful that even if you look, even Kissie Jabin, now we are crucifying him. Now we are crucifying. When he came and he was singing Ankwa Nobi, whatever they call it. Ankwa Noma. At the time,
this is a showbiz man.
At the time, we knew why he sang that song. At the time, we knew the difficulties and the challenges that he was faced with. Because of the rigidity of the system at the time, he did not have the luxury and the laxity to be able to do the things that indeed the office expected of him. That's the fact. And you see, this kind of thing, we are so hypocritical in this country, it's unbelievable. We all do know that at the time when Kenneth Furata was leaving this country, it was the Akufo-Addo who was in power. It was the Akufo-Addo who was in power.
And Martin knew this.
It was the Akufo-Addo who was in power. And you also know that even when Ghanaians demonstrated, Ben and you and I, we went on demonstration, that Kenneth Furata should be sacked. What happened? He said we were his children. And it will be very, very bad on the part of a father is that if we want the OSP to survive and to, make progress, we must be intentional about making that office very independent.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And that's the only way we can get results.
Thank you. Richard. So, Richard, on a related issue, aside the OSP, I mean, last week you sat here and you said, you made two profound statements. The OSP is a goner. The EC chair and her two deputies are goners.
Not because he believes in it too. Because he will tell you.
Within a week, we've heard that there are 7 petitions against the EC chair and her two deputies. Does this further confirm your...
You don't want me to have a bite?
No, I'll come back to you. Does this confirm the goner...
You want to say GBCD?
Should I call it prediction or soothsaying?
It's not a prediction. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. From when the NDC came to office, this has been their agenda. I asked a question last weekend when we were closing. My brother, Felix Kwachiofosu, should tell us what happened to the 27 January 2025 petition by Daniel Ofosu-Appiah to remove the EC. What happened to it? Was it ferried to the Chief Justice, then Madame Gertrude Tokonu, as it ought to be under Article 146? Or they kept it somewhere because they wanted to remove Chief Justice. They bring Chief Justice of their choosing, then activate the removal of the EC. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They are going to do it. But the thing is that it endangers our democracy. It makes democracy subject to the wills and feelings of some people, okay, in government. Then they do what they want using the law to activate their pleasures. And that, for me, is the danger our democracy faces. All across Africa and in the world, Ghana is ranked very high as a consolidated democracy. But we are risking that with the operation of this NDC government trying to subject, okay, our democracy to their feelings, to use it to fight their battles, to leverage democracy to satisfy themselves and to get at people. That is dangerous. That is not sustainable. And so for me, yes, it's just a matter of time. It's like a script. They're going to live it. We will see it happen, and that's really what is going to happen. The special prosecutor is also a goner, largely because they didn't support it before. But you know what is now hypocritical for me is that they didn't activate his removal until now that Martin Kpebu was charged. Okay, the truth is that they didn't support it. If they were, as a matter of principle, coming to office and say we're going to move because we didn't support in opposition, they would have sounded a bit credible. That is on the special prosecutor side. But now they are activating his removal because now they have seen that we thought this guy would be going for the MPP only. Now he's coming for our people, so let's remove him now before it's too late. That's really why they're agitated now. It's not because they just discovered that the special prosecutor has been abusing the rights of citizens all along. No, because they see that but this body's independence, we thought he would leave it on the MPP because since he came, he's been targeting MPP and we like it. But suddenly now he's coming for us. If he comes for Martin Kpebu, then he will come for us. And so therefore, let's remove him before he gets to any of us. So really, that's what it is. That's the hypocrisy in their behavior now, from Chief Speaker of Parliament saying let's remove it, majority, you know, that we fancy him to deal with, then he's coming for us. So let's remove it. And so there is nothing principled about this call that they are making. So truly, as I said last week, is a goner and will be gone. But you know, I made this point that shutting down the office of special prosecutor is not reform, it's a surrender. Okay, and so I think that there is an emerging consensus around the country and most of the people that are starting to deal with the excesses of our brother AHIAGBAH because he has gotten too taken in by the powers of the office, then do that. And if there is an amendment that we can make to the Act to curtail the conduct of the person in the office, not necessary to limit the powers, but then the conduct, or to hold the individual occupying the office a bit more accountable without affecting the conversation that will now happen because the NDC is determined to remove the special prosecutor. So that for me is something that we can have if really the conversation is toward reform and ensure that we continue to fight corruption the way we want to fight it. But apart from that, I think that really the office is going to go. So those who are wasting brain power to advance suggestion for the government are just wasting their time. They should let that energy be applied elsewhere because the government is going to remove the special prosecutor and consequently perhaps annul the office. And that for me raises question, and it will go down in history that the NDC is afraid of corruption, fighting corruption. They would have done a great disservice to our collective efforts to try and curtail corruption in our country. But KWABENA, before I see you are nodding your head, which is indicative that you want to move on, but I just want to make this point quickly. You indicated some of the achievements of the special prosecutor since coming into office. I don't know if these thing they have put out about their achievements so far dates back to the venerable Martin Amibu, but things that AHIAGBAH has done. But be it as it may, I want to make the point rather forcefully that all of those achievements pales in comparison to all the abuses, of the rights of citizens. I think that we need to be clear on that. There is cause and effect. Democracy is the essence of this whole business that we have here. And so if in the process of securing the things that he said is secured, and it's at the detriment of the rights of citizens, I think it is not an achievement, but it is rather a harm to democracy. So he can name all of these things, but as you can see clearly that across the country, he does not, or the Office of Special Prosecutor does not enjoy any goodwill among the population, because these things that he has achieved, whilst they must be commended or they add value to the fight against corruption, his conduct or the conduct of the office has not found favor with the people, the Ghanaian people, and so therefore people are not enthused about it. Rather unfortunate, but the point remains that they must begin to act right so that they don't affect the sensibilities of Ghanaians, but rather endear themselves to Ghanaians. And finally, on my brother Kwame, my namesake, he made a very profound, very controversial statement in stating that it was Akufo-Addo that was in government, and so to suggest that the OSP was powerless. That's not true. That's not true by any stretch of the imagination. It was Akufo-Addo that was in government when the OSP was hounding Madame Cecilia Dapa. What happened to that? Okay, so if Kenofurata was seeking to exit the country for purposes of attending to his health, why all of a sudden the OSP feels powerless to be able to stop him? By the way, Kenofurata did not leave the country surreptitiously. He announced his exit. He wrote to the chief of staff. That chief of staff is still in the country. That chief of staff could be contacted. So what is all these things about he left in the country because Akufo-Addo was the president? And so what? Did that prevent the OSP before, when in doing his job, hounding people of his government?
I think,
no.
Rigid, I think...
If he failed to do his job, we cannot be excusing for him today by citing that was Akufo-Addo. When Akufo-Addo was in government, he was doing what he was supposed to do. If he couldn't do what he ought to do, we shouldn't blame Akufo-Addo.
I think your point is well made and well noted. So we'll come back in studio. Bernard, your last take on the OSP being, like I asked Austin earlier, you have made your point clearly that from day one, you do not think that the office deserved to have even been there. We should have rather used all that resources to equip the other offices, i.e. the AG's office, the NIB or BNI, so that they become what it's expected to be. So are you pushing for the independence of these offices such that they don't have the executive power riding over, supervising over them, so they are a bit conflicted when they are operating?
Before I say yes, let me deal with my brother.
you do all that for me in 6 minutes.
That's too much for me, though.
Okay.
Did I hear Richard state that Ken Ofurata wrote to the chief of staff?
Yes, Ken in one of his letters indicated that he wrote to the chief of staff at the time that he was seeking leave to go attend to his medical. It's on record. There was one in his letters.
Which chief of staff?
At the time. So obviously it will be Frema.
Oh, Frema.
Yes.
So
because I think it was in December. It was before.
Yeah. No. So
yes.
When you say there is a chief of staff, was Frema in power when Ken was?
Yes.
When Ken Ofurata was invited by the OSP?
No,
she was not.
They are not over them.
No. So when the OSP
invited him, no, she was not. It was Julius that was the chief of staff.
was chief of staff. Why do you write to Frema Pare? He wrote to Frema Opare.
Because at the time,
Frema Op ministers have to travel. They have to notify the chief of staff.
Yes.
At that time, Ken Ofurata and Frema Opare and the MPP in general were booted.
They had lost.
They had lost elections. They were not in power.
Ken left Ken left 6th January.
Yes, so at the time when he was leaving, the handover had not been done. So it was in a
that they had
transition
lost
period.
their election.
Yes, they had lost the election. That
They
is a
have
fact.
lost their elections. Yes. So writing
Ken wasn't the minister at the time.
No.
Well, he had been given
but
he had an
then-
appointment.
No, he was
in charge of international something. He had an international.
Yeah, with government.
Yeah, with
Ken
government, yeah.
was leaving the country on the 6th of January and informed Frima Opare, who had already prepared her handing over notes and was leaving. How does that make sense in this
So
kind
the
of
point they are
communication?
making is that nobody could say they did not know Ken was out of the country
Who
because
was
the handover
aware?
note
Who was
handed
aware?
over to
I
the-
mean,
the-
so it was this not planned? And at that time, was Ken declared a fugitive of the law?
Respectfully, let me
Was
just
Ken
clarify
declared
something
a
for-
fugitive of law?
Richard, hold on for me a second.
All this argument is to the extent that... Richard, when you were talking, I was not squeezing my face. I was laughing at your squeezed face.
No, just to clarify
You
something for you.
squeezed your face, and I was just laughing at why you be squeezing your face on this matter. Will you
No,
permit
let's
me
respect me. I just want to clarify something for you. That's all.
Okay,
when
30 seconds, please.
Yeah, no, even that is too much. So when I said that he left the country, I used the word surreptitiously. Okay.
Why will you be
So
surreptitious in a matter that is supposed to be clear?
Was not the only person who knew he was leaving. Once he wrote to the chief of staff, it's public. Everybody knew that he was leaving and the reasons why he was leaving. So he cannot say that he was powerless. It's stopping because somebody who is sick, you cannot, for human rights purposes, you cannot detain the person because you think that he needs to stay here and answer questions. So that's the watchword. He didn't leave sick.
Richard, don't go there. Ken Ofori-Atta was sick when there was COVID-19. Why did Ken Ofori-Atta not go out?
Okay, so Bernard, back in.
You people are doing as if our health system is so useless.
Bernard,
but when COVID-19 came, the health system was so useful that it contained all the ailments of all these people. So leave that matter. Richard, leave that matter. The second important thing is that Ken Ofori-Atta wrote to his own body.
Okay.
That is Frima Opare. And Frima Opare had prepared her handing over notes, was leaving office. So to come and tell me that a chief of staff was notified, you are insinuating that Julius Debra was in the know. And I'm asking the question, why would a former minister be informing a chief of staff today that I'm traveling out of the country for medical, because you are not appointed, you are not in government?
The point is,
that argument should not come, that a chief of staff knew that Ken was leaving. It's not. And at that point, Ken Ofori-Atta was not declared fugitive of the law by the special prosecutor.
Okay.
So I don't know why Richard would come and do this rigmarole.
Richard and Bernard, I'm sure we would have a discussion on this. So let's stay.
Why are you not stopping Richard and you are stopping me?
I said
when he was speaking, I was mute on this set.
I said Richard and Bernard.
Only admiring his squeeze face.
I'm sure maybe
and now when I'm talking, Richard is at the back and is over talking.
The Bernard I use here is not the same name for Richard. It's Richard and Bernard.
No, stop Richard and not me.
Richard, please. Let me allow Bernard make his point on the discussion.
You should be protective of my rights.
Yeah, Brother Bernard.
Thank you, boss.
You know Brother Bernard?
Yes.
You've heard it on social media?
Yes.
Okay, Brother Bernard, please go on.
So, clearly, this argument does not arise. Where I sit, look, if you want to fight corruption, we have to build character. This thing that we are talking about, every day I keep asking, the Catholic Church has been the most beneficial of appointees and possibly heads of states, except in recent times. From KWAME Nkrumah to Achampong, to Buzia, to who? Most of the leaders that we have had in this country are of products of the church. What is it that, what character traits have we imbued in ourselves that we have this kind of leadership and that corruption is everywhere? Which institution is not led by a Muslim, a Christian, just the people? And most of them will go and donate hugely to their various churches and what have you, their various mosques, and they are hailed for doing good job. At the end, when they are hauled, you don't hear the church coming to their defense. It means that our society has to take a proper audit, whether it is the church, it is the mosque, or whatever institution. That's where we come from. Because if we don't have a proper audit, Look, you can bring God. We will corrupt him. And I said this the last time I spoke. If I want Austin to get a contract, and KWAME OWUSU DANSO is qualified to do the contract, Austin will get the contract, even under the current Public Procurement Act. Why? Because we brought the act in order that we can have transparent ways that persons that are qualified will get the jobs to do. Every day, contracts are awarded to people who tell us that, oh, this job is for me, and they go and get it. Don't we know how it is done? And so when we sit here and we say that, look, the office of the special prosecutor, blah, 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 I still think that that office is not needed. Because we have many anti-corruption institutions that also came up. Why? Iroko was formerly called what? Serious Fraud Office.
SFO.
What did it achieve? Why did we transit it to Iyoko? And Iyoko is still failing in many of the things. In fact, probably let me be blunt, most of the heads of these institutions use the institutions as an avenue to extort. Most of them, they will come after you, you acquiesce, they will take their cut, and the state loses. So it is not about the multiplicity of these anti-corruption institutions. It is not about wanting to meet UN conditions that says that establish independent conditions. And for me, the UN itself is not independent in its thoughts. Because if you list the many things that the UN has failed, these things that the UN is calling for, the UN is based in the United States of America. Are they adhering to these principles that they are calling for? So you see, where we sit, if we believe that the Attorney General must function, empower it, ensure that the Attorney General's office, possibly, we can even decide that, where I still disagree, that separate the office of the Attorney General from the Minister for Justice. In Kenya, it's done. But are they still not having problems with corruption and corruption-related issues? So the office of the Special Prosecutor is not needed. I said it from the outset. And today, they are listing things as their achievements. What are they trying to insinuate? Should the Attorney General come and list the number of people that they have secured conviction for? Should Iyoko come and list their achievement? Should Shiraj come and list their achievements? Because they are under attack. And I'm sure if all these institutions decide to come and list their achievements, the Special Prosecutor's Office will start backpedaling because their achievements will pale into thin air.
Right. Thank you very much. Before we take a quick break, I would want to read a few messages from our viewers. So please pardon me. So I have a message from Mugabe, who is sending a message from Upper West. Why shouldn't we expect much more from the OSP? Don't we finance the office? Can we point at one thing that the OSP has achieved? Well, I'm sure we've pointed to more than 7 convictions.
That is their claim.
Well, until we have a counter claim, that is what it is.
That's their claim. And I'm saying that if all the other institutions that they want, if they also start to do what they have done, and when did they think that this information needed to come to our daughters?
So tell BRAKO-POWERS that the setting up of the OSP was political, unless he was not in the country. So BRAKO, I've told you. From Koyeku, he says that this special prosecutor achieved practically nothing. Ekufuado just set it up to persecute NDC politicians. In fact, the majority of the personnel in the OSP are NPP foot soldiers. There's no evidence to that, so that remains your view. I don't think the NDC politicians are whatever. 90% of the OSP officials are okay. I would jump also from that one. Good morning. This person is sending a message from Tumu. Mr. Kpebu has no corruption tag against him. He's asking questions. So why should he be arrested by OSP? Why? Alex from Pillar 2 says the OSP office was established to retrieve monies missing and appropriated by corrupt officials and investigate and prosecute corrupt government officials. The office should be shut down because they not retrieved nor prosecuted no one. Well, the OSP says it has prosecuted and convicted 7 and is currently prosecuting 33 more. Good morning. My name is Alpha. It is the same NDC and NPP banter
we were still struggling with for centuries, stripping people off their true calling to office in this regard. The day we detach ourselves off party grounds and look at things from Ghana's perspective is when we will start growing. I agree with you. MPP,
KOJO, can you permit me one thing? Just a short one. To those who are communicating for the OSP,
they should tone down.
And the way he's going about it is not enhancing public confidence, because you need persuasive words.
Has something been sent to you?
Sammy, did you see what he wrote about the speaker?
It's response to it.
I tried not to discuss it.
No, did you see
what
I read
it?
And you think that properly, this is how you should communicate?
Anyway.
Because if you do that, you have lost the fight. Okay. And possibly you are aching bread because of like that. In communication, it was a wrong way.
Let's differentiate the officers from fundamental reasons for establishing it. NPP government appointed an NDC in the name of Matamidu, so it can be said that pursuing only NDC persons. Good morning, please. Tell the speaker that if he wants the OSP office to be scrapped, then Parliament should, I think somebody has made that point, should be the first, because what at all has Parliament been able to? I'll read the last one, then we'll take a quick break. This last one says, please ask Richard AHIAGBAH was he in this country when his own, I would leave that. It's a bit ethnocentric. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at the NPP. It's a constitutional review and what has come out and what it seems or it seeks to do in terms of the 2022 elections. We'll be right back after this break.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Villa, your home of comfort, elegance, and warm Ghanaian hospitality. Here, every stay feels personal. Our suites are thoughtfully designed to offer the perfect blend of relaxation and modern sophistication, giving you the peace and comfort you deserve. Unwind and rejuvenate with our premium amenities, take a refreshing dip in our pool, stay active in our fully equipped gym, or escape into tranquility at our serene spa. Embark on a flavorful journey at our restaurant, where Ghanaian and continental dishes are crafted to delight your senses. Planning a meeting or event? Our modern conference and event spaces provide everything you need for successful gatherings, from corporate workshops to intimate celebrations, all supported by 24/7's high-speed internet and dedicated service. Maya Villa, conferences delivered in serenity and luxury. Book your stay today.
So welcome back. In the week, announced that it's done a bit of reform to its constitution, and all in an attempt to rejuvenate the party, to better structure itself and prepare itself for the 2028 elections. We telecasted live from here the day they were having their delegates conference for if that's what is known, and after that, all the decisions that were taken have been put together, and then the secretary announced within the week that there's a new and an amended constitution, which now has a proper roadmap to the 2028 general election. And that's what we will be looking at briefly. We have the communications director available, and then also we have a political scientist also available. So I'll start with Dr. Jalilu. Doc, what does this mean? An amended constitution? It's the framework behind the party. The people are the same. The people that were kicked out of power, the people that lost massively with that margin are the same people. They are the same people we see all around. Richard AHIAGBAH was the communication director when they were in power and now. So the amendment, what will it change? What will it make different about the NPP towards the 2028 election?
All right, thank you, KOJO. I think all what I would say is that, I mean, normally when parties lose elections, they take steps looking at what happened, right, throughout the election and all that, maybe what went wrong, so that, I mean, these are some of the things that they will factor in order for them to be effective or to be able to, I mean, prosecute the next election. I mean, after the massive loss of the 2024 elections, I think they took some steps, right? Like, I mean, Professor Mike Okwe's committee that went around. Okay, I mean, like, if also created the Constitution Review Committee. I think it was also chaired by I mean, David, okay, right? Lawyer David.
Doc, I'm getting a bit of technical.
So basically,
Doc, can you hear me?
And then that communicated in the.
Hello, Doc, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm having a bit
yes,
of.
I can hear you.
I'm having a bit of difficulty hearing you. There's a bit of break, so I'll come back to you. We'll try and rectify it. I'll come back to you. But let me move to Richard. Okay. Richard, your party has done this amendment. What does it mean to the NPP person who is sitting home today, to the NPP people, or your party foot soldiers? What does it mean to them? What does it mean for them?
Thank you very much. The amendment that you've seen us done, I think officially was done on the 19th of July this year, is consistent with our constitution that occasion be given for amendments to our constitution. And we have done this a few times. In fact, I think this may probably be the 5th time that we're doing it. We did it, I think, in 1998. I remember we've done it. We did so again in 2003, I think 2009, 2017, and also now. And so it's consistent with the provisions of our constitution, and so therefore it gives occasion for party people to examine the constitution and see in line with the business of the party to make these recommendations for consideration of the delegate conference of the party, the highest decision-making body of the party, to agree to these or not agree, so that we can make our constitution responsive to the times that we live in. And you have lawyers in your studio who will tell you that the constitution or any constitutional document is a living document. And so these amendments brings our constitution to life, makes it responsive, and be able to address the challenges we're facing as a party going forward. So therefore, this is not the fact that we lost power, so therefore we are amending the constitution, but it's a part of our constitution to give this occasion. So I just want to make that point. And for the regular members amendment bring to them, I think that's many. many amendments, many benefits can be extracted from this, because out of the all the, I think 54 or so amendments that were proposed, I think only 1 or 2 was turned down. All of them that were approved hold a lot of reform value for our party, and our members should be happy about that. A key among them for me is the Electoral College Amendment, which goes to the heart of expanding the Electoral College. That has been a concern for many, that we should operate a system of one person, one vote, to the extent that specifically the presidential candidate, and in some limited cases, the parliamentary candidate of the party, acceptable to the larger membership of the party. We should open it up to a one person, one vote situation. So members who are in good standing should have the occasion to be able to vote, and not by select committee of people, which currently, before the amendment, was limited to functioning officers of the party. So from police station, if it's to do with the presidential candidate or flag bearer of the party, then it's to do with police station people, electoral area, constituency, regional, acting or functional people. So former officers were not permitted to vote in that. Maybe a limited number of council of elders, a limited number of patrons were allowed to vote, and they felt that that was too exclusive. And so this amendment opens it up, where today former constituency officers are now brought into the scope to be able to vote. So if you're a member of a party who hitherto, because you are no longer in office, you couldn't contribute to decision making in terms of who represents you as a parliamentarian, or who represents the party's ticket as a presidential candidate, now you have that right. We have expanded the polling station numbers from 5 to 7, and have created a committee at the electoral area, which used to be only one functional officer, but now we have a committee of 5 coordinating the activities of the polling station in the constituency. So that has brought a significant opening, and as a member of the party, people should be excited, because we are moving toward what most people expect to be a one person, one vote situation, by expanding this. So now former MPs are part of the Electoral College, and they can also be part of that decision-making process. So this is a very good occasion for members of the party. It's a good time to be a member of the New Patriotic Party, and I think that going forward, the confidence will generate from these limited expansion would mean perhaps that we'll take a further step toward an absolute one person, one vote situation. Of course, my own office, the Director of Communication of the party, I have seen a lot of interest, so that hitherto it was an appointive office, now it's going to be an elective office, and that also expands. The party members are happy about that. Of course, more can be done, and our constitution provides the opportunity for other future amendments to be brought to make our constitution responsive and timely.
Richard, so on this, I mean, like you mentioned, there are a lot of amendments that I think we need to discuss further to even understand each of them. So I'm sure we can have a session later just to probably sit with you one-on-one to discuss and understand each of the amendments, what it seeks to do, how it will change, and all those things. We can't do that today. So we'll definitely do a follow-up with you and discuss this into details, so that we can be able to educate your base to understand properly how this will benefit them. Right. So let me move to Doc. Doc, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, just a small point. Just a small point. So on the basis of that, since the NDC constitution has not been brought here for discussion or anything, I would want to say that everybody else discussing this is a stop from making controversial comments.
In fact, the discussion, the discussion on this is.
I will talk.
No.
I think let's
Why is he saying that?
I've not said anything. I didn't hear what I'm going to say, Bernard.
No.
You don't even hear what I'm going to say.
Talk. You
You
invited me and gave topics.
Bernard, have I said you wouldn't talk?
I am here to talk about the topic.
I have not said you will talk.
And then Richard is stopping me before I can make it.
No, he says
he said he had me in mind.
He has me in mind that don't say anything controversial. Right. So
what he has done is even more controversial than what I would do.
So, Dr. Jalilu,
please, you are stop from making controversial comments on our constitution.
Right. Dr. Jalilu, just a few more minutes, if you can conclude what you were saying.
Yes.
Maybe just about 3 more minutes. We are a bit limited with time, so I can come back to the studio.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I was saying that when parties experience major events, like maybe losing elections, they take stock, right? So basically for MP, for example, I think 1998, after 2 losing elections, 2 consecutively, they had their first major review in 1998. And I think 2009, in August, after losing the 2008 elections, there was also a review of their constitution. So these are some of the things that they do. It allows them to take stock and then see what are some of the changes. So specifically now, if you look at the current one, the July, when they had the electoral base, so some of the former appointees of government or former members of parliament, so they expanded their electoral base. So that is giving voice to more people to participate in decision making. So I think these are some of the things that parties need to do. It is important to expand the electoral base, give voices to the people, because the parties belong to the people. So when you expand the electoral base, I think that is something that is good, right? So basically, it's an important step, deepening their internal democracy. The party, I think, is one of the things that featured. It is a good, maybe looking at the current situation about the election, going to elect their flag bearer 31st January and all that. I think, I raised this issue previously that, in my view, if they had maybe after losing this election, if they had decided to rather rebuild their party so that the party will be able to, the structures that they have will be able to support, the presidential election, but they decided to have their presidential, to elect their flag bearer before coming to do the party elections and all that. So we hope that things will work out for them. They'll be able to build their party in order to be able to prosecute the elections effectively in 2028.
Let me come in here. So I'm going to have about 12 minutes to close. So I'm going to distribute for you 4 each. And then you touch on this. And yesterday was Farmers Day. So if you want to say anything, which are farmers, Bernard, I'll start with you. The more time you use, you reduce their time.
No, all that I just want to say to the MPP is that I wish them well. They are a political pillar in our 4th Republican Constitution. They may or might have contributed to some positives. And they might have also contributed some huge negatives and deficits in our democratic journey. If they themselves see the need to review their constitution, which is right, because constitutions must be dynamic and must meet the new times, they are welcome.
Don't let him distract you.
My KWAME. They must meet the new times. So I wish them sincerely well. I'm just a bit curious that largely about 56 amendments to a constitution that was just amended less than 4 years ago. What went wrong? 56. Because you see, you are bringing in former appointees. And these former appointees are seen as largely beneficial to a candidate. And you are going to go for elections. Do what we want to do. Beyond that, hey, Professor Mills would say due fiasem. And I think that the NPP would be better off. Of course, after losing such massively, they ought to do an internal audit. And doing the internal audit, they have come to some of these things. And it's good that they themselves realize the deficits and want to overcome them. Now to National Farmers Day. 82-year-old man. Under normal circumstances, is out of...
So retirement?
No, over retirement.
22 years after
72
retirement.
Years. 82.
22 years after retirement.
82 years. He looks healthy. He looked strong. Working on the farm. Should tell us. And you know, I cherish that we are doing the 41st celebrations of our national farmers. And this was brought by Jerry John Rawlings when we had famine in this country. 1982, 1983 to 1984. There was proper famine in this country. Because there was massive, widespread bushfires that burnt a lot of crops. Those of us who lived within that time, coming by food was a problem. In fact, the only food largely you came across was cassava, because that one was buried. Cassava in afternoon, evening.
Gari?
Gari, morning, afternoon, evening. And some yam, if you were lucky. So it was within that point that we needed to augment food production in this country. And incentives were to be put in place for national people who went into agriculture and to boost farming. The first set of farmers received cutlasses. Cutlasses. As their reward for boosting farming. Self-sufficiency of our nation are not recognized as much as those who have large tracts of lands, who have large tracts of animals, and what have you. So we tend to glorify commercial farmers and commercial farming
over the subsidy,
over the peasant farmers who cannot package their food and sell outside. Most of the commercial farmers, when we finish, bring their loads and come and take most of the food and take it outside of the country. And yet, those are the people receiving the awards. Now, those who are contributing to food self-sufficiency and reduce prices of our food and making it cheaper, hardly are they recognized. I am an average farmer. So I do not think that we, the average farmers, are more important than those who will go and do some 2-3 acres, harvest, make what they have to. Are we incentivizing them?
Right.
2, if government sincerely want to boost food self-sufficiency, then government, as was done in the case of KWAME Nkrumah, ought to take the state farming and state farms very seriously. Because you have schools and colleges of agriculture. The people finish and then demonstration farms are even non-existent for them to go and run what they have learned.
Right.
And so the state farm concept will become a major pillar of land so that they can put in, government will develop, people can go there and learn. Let me conclude on this. Recently, and I'm sure that Professor Kofi Hagan at the University of Cape Coast, I had to send workers from my farm to go to the University of Cape Coast to go and do attachment on piggery. And when I called him, he said, hey, we have the facility, and they went. If you see the report they themselves generated, what they learned, but that is just at the university level. So if the state had farms, that ministers and other people will not be sitting in the offices wearing suits and tie, but will be on the field demonstrating what it is to generate food for our nation.
Okay.
Finally, Operation Feed Yourself. That was caricatured into, what do we call it? Planting for food, and that never materialized or showcased anything. Let's go back to Operation Feed Yourself.
Austin.
Then you, at your backyard, instead of putting, what do we call them?
Flower pots.
Not just flower pots. You know, in our yard.
Gardens.
In our yard, we don't have...
pavement?
When you finish your tomato and throw them, they actually will grow. let us recultivate that.
Your 4 to 2.
So no. I will hand over the rest.
I think this is my view. I think honoring farmers should not be reduced to just a single symbolic day. Because I think it must, if a truly and meaningful celebration, must be able to tell the story, the story behind the food on our tables. But here is the reality. Beyond the award stage and the ceremonial speeches lies a far more complex reality, effect of galamsey. So what this government should do, because I was thinking that prior to the Farmers' Day, there will be a string of activities, documentaries, lived experiences. We need to hear the experiences of these farmers, the innovations, and the challenges they encounter every day. But the only thing we see is on the day, the Farmers' Day, we organize an event, we give elaborate and flamboyant speeches, and that will be the end. But it must be a string of activities leading up to the Farmers' Day. So the government should now prioritize the conditions under which the farmers live. Then when we do that, I think we'll be contributing meaningfully to the conversation.
Forgive me, Kwame, it's reduced to 1 minute.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just want to say that I congratulate the best national farmer, but also, most importantly, I think the MPP is better when they are in opposition. So maybe, because you see, if you look at them go to court on the EC matter, MPP versus IGP, MPP versus this, number one, when they are in opposition, they are very effective. So I think that this constitutional review should help them stay in opposition so that they can help shape the democracy. You see, it's very, very important.
Okay.
So, but I wish them well. I really and truly, the kind of MPP that I knew and respected and loved, it's not the MPP that I'm seeing today.
Richard, you also being
is Richard still on?
He's a farmer. He's also a farmer.
No, Richard will respond. Richard will issue a response.
Richard, on agriculture, just 1 minute on agriculture, strictly agriculture. If you say any other thing, I would not allow you to go. Richard.
Oh, thank God he's not on.
Kwame is invited to point his guns.
No, Richard, agriculture. Richard, I have only 1 minute.
I'll get to farmers. No problem. I just have two things to say about farming. He points his guns at the government, the NDC. They are accountable to us. They are administrating our taxes.
Richard, farming.
I have 1 minute. Richard don't do farming. He should focus on the government and not the targeting.
1 minute farming. Let's go.
KOJO, I think that the president, I listened to him yesterday. I think he said some very interesting things, and I believe 3 things. One, that he talks about agric is for everyone. I think I support him in that. We should encourage more people to get into agric. And so I think that adding our voices to that Eating Ghana, I think that that's also a very good call. We should support him in that direction. It helps all of us. It makes farmers make money. It makes our culture advances. It makes sure it helps more production, and then it ensures that we are able, in the likely event that happens, that we're able to stabilize our currency as well from importing less and eating more domestic. But the only challenge I have is that farming has become very expensive now, whether by a commercial farmer or by the average subsistence farmer, because now nobody is using the whole anymore. Vast majority are going into tractor and mechanized farming. And so it's expensive to be a farmer today, but then the market for your produce is not there. And so the government, in speaking about the president's statement yesterday, must act in ways that would make farming less expensive. And to that, I said the farmer center that they promised to establish. So
Richard, forgive me.
Access. I'm coming. So that farmers can access this
Richard,
centers.
Yeah, we can't wait for you. We can't wait for you to end. Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you very much. I'll record what you are saying.
This was supposed to be your main topic today, KOJO. This was supposed to be your main topic today.
It was because you spoke more about the MPP. Forgive me. I'll record what you have to say and I'll play it for my people. Viewers, thank you very much for today. Thank you, Bernard, MORNAH. Thank you, Kwame AHIAGBAH. Thank you, Austin.
Kwame OWUSU DANSO.
Kwame OWUSU DANSO. Sorry, not Ansa. Ansa is gone.
And Esquire.
Esquire. His Excellency, Esquire Kwame AHIAGBAH. Also to Dr. Jalilu and also to Richard. Thank you very much for your time. See you next week, and we hope that you enjoy the week ahead of you.